We will welcome you with everlasting pride when the time is right. Remember our heroes and see how we honor them. Remember our challenges and share our incredible triumphs. Share our history and help us tell our rich and essential story. Revel in the family you're born to and revel in the family you make. Celebrate the now and get ready for the future. Because our community is your community.
Coming.
Oh my God, what is all this luggage?
Well, I'm late again, of course. I thought we were going on a trip.
No. Today's the 23rd annual Pride Brunch for PRC. The theme is A Taste of San Francisco Pride, and today we're going to give a tour of all the queer historic sites around the city.
That's right. You know, it's hard to believe we've been doing this Pride Brunch since 1999.
Wow.
I think we started at Star's Restaurant, then there was John Frank, then we went to, for over 15 years, to Hotel Whitcomb, and then in 2019, we're at the St. Francis in Union Square. We've come a long way. We've heard from Grand Marshals like Sir Ian McKellen, Cecil Williams, Horace Leachman, so many people. Why don't we just look back on 22 Pride Brunches? How wonderful to see so many familiar faces all having such fun. Oh, and Gary, everybody's asking me, are we going to do the cook-off again this year? That was so much fun last year, except for the controversy about those voting irregularities.
There were none. I won fair and square. But this year we have something different planned. But before we show you the rest of the city, let me tell you about PRC for those who aren't familiar. It was started over 30 years ago to help people with HIV and AIDS get free and confidential disability benefits counseling. Later, it rolled into serving people looking for jobs going back to work after 1996. Now they've merged with the AIDS Emergency Fund and Baker Places Incorporated for a wide-ranging array of services, all under one roof in the South of Market area. Personally, I'm indebted to them. After my AIDS diagnosis in 1995, they gave me amazing advice that has me live and thriving here today. So we want to thank PRC and we appreciate your support today.
We both value our time, Gary, on the board of PRC, and even to this day, we still value their services and raise money for them wherever we can.
I noticed the clock's ticking and we've got a lot to show you, so let me just say that over 40 years ago, San Francisco birthed a bevy of LGBTQ organizations, including the Gay Men's Chorus, the Imperial Court of San Francisco, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, the Lesbian and Gay Freedom Band, probably the Softball League, and God knows what else. There's so much to tell you about the history in San Francisco. But I think the best person to do it is the First Lady of the Castro herself, my co-host Donna Sachet.
Thank you, Mark Leno, for that title. What better place to start than right here in Harvey Milk Plaza, the heart of the Castro. Actually, right above us flies the rainbow flag, the international symbol for our community. That was created right here in San Francisco by Gilbert Baker in 1978. And think about it, we also have the Rainbow Honor Walk now that puts bronze plaques in the sidewalk honoring individuals from the LGBTQ plus community. We also have right across the street, Twin Peaks, a bar that's on the National Historic Record of Businesses. We have the Castro Theater Marquee right behind us, which they are going to open again. Actually, they did this weekend, finally, for the end of the Frameline Film Festival. That marquee stands as a symbol of our proud community. I mean, what else are you going to ask for? The crosswalks and the sidewalks here are rainbow striped because that represents the diversity of this beautiful community.
Thank you, Donna. We promised you a few surprises today, so let's hear from some elected leaders wishing us support today.
Greetings, everyone. What a delight it is to join so many friends to celebrate the 23rd anniversary of this annual special Pride Brunch. Thank you, Gary Virginia and Donna Sachet, for the invitation to say a few words and for your steadfast leadership advocating for our LGBTQ community in San Francisco. Brett Andrews, you and the Positive Resource Center have been a force for progress in our city for decades, serving as a pillar of hope for thousands of people, starting with people with HIV and AIDS. As Speaker of the House, it is my privilege to bring the gratitude of our magnificent House Democratic majority, which is nearly 70% women, people of color, and LGBTQ members, to the leaders and friends of the Pride Brunch. For 23 years, you have fought to overcome the forces of discrimination and injustice, and you have made extraordinary progress. From marriage equality and repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell to fighting the epidemic of AIDS and passing the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act, take pride in the progress that we have made to end anti-LGBTQ bigotry. We know, however, that achieving equality is far from over. Anti-LGBTQ legislation is making its way into state legislatures across America. LGBTQ Americans, particularly trans women of color, face increasing violence. That is why, led by Congressman David Cicilline, House Democrats proudly passed the Equality Act to end discrimination once and for all, and we will not relent until it becomes the law of the land. We're also very proud of President Biden, who in the first week of his presidency ensured that LGBTQ Americans were protected against discrimination under the Civil Rights Act and reversed the Trump ban on transgender military service. Harvey Milk once said, "Hope will never be silent." From the corners of the Castro to south of Market, Twin Peaks, and the Tenderloin, we will not be silent. We will take pride. Best wishes for a successful brunch and onward to more victories. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mayor London Breed, and it is my honor to welcome you to the 23rd Annual Pride Brunch, supporting PRC. This year's theme, A Taste of San Francisco Pride, is a celebration of our city's resilience and strength, and the work that everyone did to help us get to this point. As we recover from this pandemic, we must continue to rebuild with a focus on equity, breaking cycles of poverty and creating a more just society. And we know we can't do this work alone. PRC has been an incredible partner, running the Hummingbird Valencia site for those struggling with mental health, offering critical workforce development counseling and legal advocacy programs, and providing life-saving resources to people living with HIV/AIDS. These services give people the tools they need to get on the path towards good health, stability, and success. We have been through a lot this last year, but once again, PRC has been with us every step of the way, working hard to serve our residents. Today, I want to thank you for your support of PRC and our LGBTQ community by taking part in this Pride Brunch. Thank you to everyone at PRC and Brett Andrews, and to our brunch founders and co-hosts, Gary Virginia and Donna Sachet, for making sure this incredible Pride tradition continues. Happy Pride, everyone.
Thank you for those messages. I'm telling you, it's your chance now to participate in the silent auction. Across the bottom of the screen shows you the instructions. It's your chance to bid, bid, bid. Let me tell you, one of the most exciting things, we've got great restaurants for a dinner for you, 2 friends, and a local celebrity. How about Jan Wall? How about, I don't know,
Is he coming?
maybe, we'll see. So bid, bid, bid.
We also want to shout out to our VIP guests at the historic Palace Hotel. They have 10 suites, and they went there last night to start their celebration for Pride, and they're right now enjoying the brunch that we offered, as well as the swag bags. So shout out to you. Thank you for supporting us.
Save us some champagne.
Donna, I see the F-Line streetcar coming, and we've got a lot to see. So folks, stay with us. We'll be right back. But
With all this luggage.
we got to go. But hey, stay there. We're going to have you hear from Brett Andrews, the CEO of PRC, as well as the president of San Francisco Pride, Carolyn Weisinger. We'll be right back.
Hi everyone, I'm Brett Andrews and I am honored to be the CEO of PRC. Welcome to Gary Virginia and Donna Sachet's 23rd Annual Pride Brunch. And I can't thank Donna and Gary enough for their commitment to PRC all these many years. They have raised nearly $800,000 over the past 22 years, generating critical funding for PRC's core services for people living with HIV and AIDS, and those struggling with mental health and substance use issues. Our legal advocacy, workforce development, and emergency financial assistance programs all benefit from the hard work and creativity of Gary and Donna's efforts on behalf of Pride Brunch. Additionally, our merger with Baker Places brings enhanced behavioral health services to a broad spectrum of the neediest San Franciscans. We all know how challenging this past year and a half has been. This is our second virtual Pride Brunch, but this one comes on the cusp of the reopening of our great city. In an era of COVID, your support and engagement with PRC is more meaningful than ever. While most of our services were provided remotely during COVID, our residential treatment and our emergency financial assistance programs allowed us to stay in touch with an ever-increasing client base whose needs for connection and immediate support grew dramatically throughout the pandemic. Events like Pride Brunch have proven to be a lifeline for the agency. While annual fundraising efforts were down, the costs remained the same, and the needs of our clients expanded greatly. That is why funds raised by Pride Brunch are so critical this year. It provides unrestricted and flexible funds for our programs during an ongoing pandemic. Lastly, I want to congratulate this year's Grand Marshals. I have read your stories, and each one is as inspiring as the last. Thanks to you and your contributions and presence in our lives, we share in your joy and in your journey. Thank you to Gary and Donna, our volunteers, and to all of you who year after year show up and show us how to be a community. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.
Happy Pride, everyone. My name is Carolyn Weisinger, and I'm the board president of San Francisco Pride. And I just wanted to stop by to first thank Gary and Donna for once again putting on this amazing brunch. For the second year, we aren't able to gather in person, but we've had so much fun doing the small events that we were able to do. Thank you so much for those of you who joined us at Oracle Park on the 11th and 12th. It was an amazing once in a lifetime, hopefully not once in a lifetime, we'll be able to do it again, but a once in a lifetime history making event at Oracle Park. Thank you for joining us at the AAACC in the Fillmore District. We were so excited to have you all there with us, and we're excited to see you all again at this year's PRC brunch. I look forward to seeing you all again next year, as well as the rest of our board members. Thank you again, Gary and Donna, and again, happy Pride.
Woo! We made it. Well, we stopped at Aunt Charlie's Lounge to say hi to our friends.
Well,
But welcome to the Tenderloin.
and I love Aunt Charlie's. And welcome to the first ever Transgender Cultural District. 6 designated blocks right here in the Tenderloin, focusing on tenant protections and economic development for the transgender community. San Francisco's led the way in transgender movement from the beginning, evidenced by the plaque marking this as the Transgender Cultural District, marked by the street named after famous entertainer Vicki Marlene, and marked another plaque across the street for the Compton Cafeteria, where the riots occurred in 1966, fully 3 years before Stonewall in New York.
Wow.
Yes, that night, the LGBTQ community rose up and said, no more. Today, transgender individuals are members of many boards of directors and organizations across town. As a matter of fact, Honey Mahogany was just elected the chair of the San Francisco Democratic Party.
Love her. She also just sang the national anthem at LGBTQ Pride Night with the San Francisco Giants. Go Honey. But right now, we want to introduce to you our next Community Grand Marshal. What better place than a Tenderloin? This person was selected by the San Francisco Pride Board of Directors. Let's hear from Claire Farley.
Thank you so much, Donna and Gary, for this amazing opportunity to join you all, to celebrate our incredible community and our pride. And even though we're doing it virtually, we're still coming together, and we're reopening, which is so exciting. Earlier in the month, I got to be part of our Pride kickoff at City Hall, where we raised the rainbow flag in honor of our city's pride and commitment to the LGBT community. And today we get to honor all of our incredible Grand Marshals, and it's so great to be a part of such a fierce list of so many incredible community activists. And it reminds me, what work do we still have ahead? We need to pass the Equality Act. We need to protect our trans kids. As we look across the state, we see so many bills being introduced and moved forward that are attacking our young kids and youth who just want to go to school or use the bathroom and do things like any other kid would want to do. I'm sure if we all look back at our own childhoods, we'd imagine what would have been like to be our authentic selves in the things that we got to do. And so today it's our opportunity to make sure that we raise our voices in pride, but that we're also calling out and taking action to protect our trans kids. So talk to your friends and your family, talk to your legislator and Congress, and make sure that we're investing into our young folks. I'm so proud to work for a city where we get to do that every day, whether that's our new trans guaranteed universal income pilot, or supporting our seniors through digital literacy and making sure that they connected through telehealth mental health services, or investing into our LGBT cultural and historical museums and other services. We're doing so much. So thank you again so much for having me. It's an honor to join you all. Have a wonderful and beautiful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Another Grand Marshal, Community Grand Marshal this year, is someone who's led the fight for equity for transgender people, especially transgender women of color. Welcome, Akira Jackson.
Hi, my name is Akira Jackson, and I'm the CEO founder of the Transgender Advocates for Justice and Accountability, TAJA Coalition. I'm so happy to be one of this year's Grand Marshals for SF Pride 2021. To me, this means that you see me and you acknowledge my leadership. The TAJA Coalition was made by the community for the community, and it's been an honor to carry the work forward. To know more about TAJA's Coalition, please visit us at tajascoalition.org. Like, share, follow us on Instagram at tajas.coalition, as well as on Facebook and on Twitter. Happy Pride, everybody.
What an amazing group of honorees this year, Donna. And don't forget, viewers, every dollar raised today through Text to Donate or the silent auction, which you'll be seeing scrolling across the bottom of the screen, is going to be matched dollar for dollar up to $5,000 thanks to our sponsor, Tito's Handmade Vodka. So be generous, check your bids, and get the item you like. The auction will stay open after the brunch until 3 p.m. to make sure you have time to raise your bid and get the item you want. And now,
Gary,
Donna.
I'm thirsty.
I know, but we're at Charlie's Lounge. I think it's time for a toast. Please join us in having a toast to you. There would be no Pride Brunch for 23 years without your loyal support. So here's to you, viewers and guests of the Pride Brunch. Cheers, Donna.
Cheers, Gary. Whoa.
Woo! Now we have a special treat for you. We got to hook a ride and get on over to another part of town. But while we do that, please enjoy the city's official band, the one and only Lesbian and Gay Freedom Band.
Yay.
coming out at Verizon has been easier than coming out in aspects of my own personal life. They get diversity makes us better.
I think that's what makes Verizon such a beautiful place to work at. It's the fact that we understand the diversity, and inclusion is actually an attribute and a benefit.
Welcome back to A Taste of San Francisco Pride. Donna and I just arrived in front of the Eagle Bar at the new Eagle Plaza, standing underneath a huge leather pride flag. And we are proud to say that this district was just named the LGBTQ Leather and Cultural District, commemorating the businesses, individuals, and organizations that comprise our leather history here. Donna, you know a little bit about leather yourself, don't you?
Well, actually, I think we both have great memories of this neighborhood. We've been to Beer Bus, we've been to the Folsom Street Fair, and leather contest. Weren't you a leather title holder, Gary?
Oh God, that was so long ago. But I happen to have a relic with me. My 1996 Mr. San Francisco leather vest that I cherish and I don't fit in anymore. Thank you very much.
And not to be outdone.
What? The Leather Empress. Oh, she always has to outdo me. You know, we had so much fun. She was Empress 30 of the Imperial Council, and it overlapped with my year as Mr. Leather, and we've been good friends ever since. And we're so proud to be down here to tell you about the leather community.
Tell us more.
We could do a documentary, but I just want to cover a few important dates. There was a gay bar in San Francisco in 1938, catering to the veterans, the soldiers coming in off the ship from the war. And then things evolved. It became an epicenter, attracting leather kinky men and biker men. And now here we are. The first gay motorcycle club was in 1960, the year I was born, called the Warlocks. And then in the late 70s, this whole area had over 30 different businesses, merchants, and clubs, all within walking distance, and they called it the Miracle Mile.
I remember that.
And then by 1979, the Dykes on Bikes and the women's motorcycle contingent started and led the Pride Parade. It was called the San Francisco Gay Freedom Day Parade, but they've been leading the parade since 1979.
Another first in San Francisco.
And the Eagle is right behind us. They're getting ready for a big grand reopening after the pandemic, set for Pride weekend. And they were started in 1981. And you know, this whole area used to be very ethnically diverse in a blue-collar manufacturing area, and it started becoming gentrified. And community activists stepped up and recognized that their whole history and culture could be wiped out, so they started the Folsom Street Fair by my good friend Kathleen Cannell, an open lesbian who now lives in San Diego, and her good friend who's passed long since of AIDS, Michael Valeria.
Wow, when was that?
That was way back in 1984.
Okay.
Thank you for asking me, historian. And you know, now the event has blossomed. It's the biggest leather event in the world, and attracts hundreds of thousands of people and generates $250,000 for charity every year. So that is a big component of the neighborhood. You know, I can't leave talking about this area without mentioning our good friend Daddy Alan Selby, born in London, who opened Mr. S Leather many years ago. It's still operating with different owners just a couple blocks away.
Wait, that's the S in Mr. S?
It is, Daddy Alan Selby. Daddy Alan. Well, people who knew him loved him. He was on several boards of directors. He pioneered leather contests as a way to raise money for charity. And he and his good friend Rita Rocket did the Sunday brunches at the AIDS ward at SF General Hospital for many, many years, holding the hands of people dealing with the last days of their lives when family and friends were often afraid to even go to the AIDS ward. And Daddy Alan was a great inspiration to many people, and he's one of my mentors.
So glad we got to know him.
Well, there's a lot more to see down here in the Cultural District, down around the Powerhouse. The Lone Star is still going strong. Oasis nightclub. There's so much to do, so come down and visit and support them as things reopen. And just remember that Tony DeBlas of San Francisco created the Leather Pride flag way back in 1989, and it premiered at International Mr. Leather in Chicago that year.
Those firsts just keep coming, don't they?
They
and
do.
I tell you, when I see that leather flag, and I think back to the rainbow flag we saw in the Castro, I can't help but think of one of our biggest supporters of Pride Brunch, Tommy Taylor. We lost him last year, but he was a big supporter of our event. He provided rainbow decor and decorations for the Pride Brunch for over 15 years. We miss him, and we want to show this video just to give some honor to our good friend, Tommy Taylor.
As we tour San Francisco, we can't forget about our neighboring cities that have rich cultural traditions from north, south, east, and west. Please welcome remarks from this year's Organization Grand Marshal selected by public vote, the Oakland LGBTQ Community Center.
In 2017, Oakland became the last large California city to get its very own LGBTQ Community Center in the beautiful Lake Merritt District, founded by Joe Hawkins and Jeff Myers. It is dedicated to enhancing and sustaining the well-being of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer individuals, families, and allies by providing educational, social, health-related activities, programs, and services. During San Francisco Pride Weekend 2020, the center experienced the full impact of racism and anti-LGBTQ+ hatred when a golf club-wielding white male smashed their windows while yelling racist and anti-queer slurs. Within weeks, the physical damage was repaired, but the deeper damage challenges us to continue the fight to overcome ignorance, hatred, and bigotry. We invite you to visit the Oakland LGBTQ Community Center very soon. Our LGBTQ+ community is certainly a patchwork of all ages, genders, ethnicities, and more. Our next Community Grand Marshal is a heroine of the Latinx community with expertise in healing justice, anti-violence, and community building. Please welcome Nicole Santamaria.
Nicole Santamaria has expertise in healing justice and anti-violence work and has been providing support to survivors of violence for more than 15 years. From her work as professor of design and art therapy in her country of origin, El Salvador, she then went on to co-found Colectiva Alejandria SV, collaborating with NGOs, activists, and government entities in Central America, the Caribbean, and U.S. to create awareness around the violations and realities of LGBTQI communities in these countries. Nicole is now based in the Bay Area and serves as executive director of El La para Translatinas. Using a trauma-informed lens, she continues to develop El La's diverse programs while supporting staff development and growth, strengthening partnerships with community allies and organizations, ensuring continued funding and financial stability, and serving as El La's spokesperson and representative to the public at large.
Donna, look at the time. We've got no time to spare. We've got one more stop, so don't go anywhere. Time to chill the Corbel, dig into that gift bag. Thank you to everybody who donated to the bags and bought tickets today, and to our volunteers who were all over town delivering those gift bags yesterday.
And as we head to that next stop, remember the silent auction is still open, and you can simply make a contribution to continue PRC's work, like our two friends just did. Did you see this? Bob Herman and Dan Jornstadt just donated $500 to keep PRC active.
Awesome. Thanks, Bob and Dan. Well, we're on our way. Grab a drink, check your auction bids, and we'll be right back.
Good glorious morning, Pride Brunch guests. I am Kippy Marks, and this is Isabella. I am your Mr. January 2021 for the Bare Chest Calendar, benefiting PRC. Congratulations, Gary and Donna, on your 23rd annual Pride Brunch, and to all the Grand Marshals, congratulations. We're honored to play for you today. A lot of love is in the air. So how about we get started, okay?
Tito was already doing it on his own before we put a name on Love Tito's.
He used to give it away, which of course included charitable events.
Tito allows each of the employees to choose what charity in their local community they want to give back to.
I think that's the end goal, is to do something that has meaning and purpose.
We're here in this company to make the world a better place, and we like to think we're doing it through Tito's handmade vodka.
Gary, when you said it's windy up here, you weren't kidding, my gosh. But what a place to see a view of the city we live in, the setting for so many firsts for the LGBTQ plus community.
Yes, we're up here on Twin Peaks, the second highest point in San Francisco and the geographic center of San Francisco. And of special significance to close out a taste of San Francisco Pride, we wanted to feature the Pink Triangle Project, founded by Patrick Carney 26 years ago. Donna and I were up here on June 1st with Patrick's entourage of people, and I thought it was going to snow pink snow. It was so blistering cold.
My fingers are still stiff.
It was foggy, it was humid, it was blistering wind, and Donna and I sat behind House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of San Francisco, the wonderful London Breed, and we were honored to read about the history of the Pink Triangle, starting back from the Holocaust, when those who were perceived to be LGBTQ were forced to wear a pink triangle on their uniform, and they were larger than the other identifying triangles because the gay people got the harshest treatment. And Patrick Carney, recognizing how hate unchecked can lead to the most heinous crimes against humanity through the Holocaust, wanted to remind people with the pink triangle. The gay community took over the triangle symbol with ACT UP San Francisco during the AIDS crisis. And for 26 years, Patrick, with an entourage of 300 volunteers, installs an acre-large pink triangle on the hillside.
It's just fabric, right? They put on the hillside.
Exactly. And it normally goes up just for Pride weekend, but last year, due to COVID, they couldn't assemble 300 people closely, so they just did the outline, and it was not going to be as impactful. But then Ben Davis of Illuminate the Arts stepped in with his cohorts and said, let's light that triangle.
What a great partnership.
So the community raised $80,000 to install 2,700 LED pink lights that when they're lit up are in a random formation all through sunset until sunrise every night.
And you can see that pink triangle all the way down Market Street in San Francisco, and some say from Mars. I mean, it shows everywhere.
It's huge if it's not foggy. So the first year, Patrick snuck up on the hill with his friends and put the triangle up. Now it's an integral part of the Pride celebration. It was so popular last year with the illumination that now we lit it on June 1st. It'll be up all through the month of June now and forevermore. Quite a remarkable project.
So proud of Patrick, what he started, and it's just become an international symbol. And you know, since arriving in San Francisco in 2000 and adding immensely to the cultural richness of this city are the next two Grand Marshals, Community Grand Marshals, co-executive directors of the African American Arts and Cultural Complex, Melanie Green and Melora Green.
Let's hear from them.
Thank you to all of the beautiful people at the Positive Resource Center and to your sponsors for hosting this brunch to celebrate who we all are. We are so honored to be your 2021 San Francisco Pride Community Grand Marshals and to share this beautiful space with you today.
It is a gift to have this opportunity to represent all of our LGBTQIA culture and to bring light to the Black and brown leaders who came before us, like Marsha P. Johnson, Victoria Cruz, and Sylvia Rivera. Appreciating our ancestors, connecting people, sharing gratitude is what we do every day. This role carries such importance in the history of the LGBTQIA communities around the globe. When we were selected, we were asked, "Are you ready?"
And now Melanie and I have been doing this work since we arrived in San Francisco in 2000, and we don't plan to stop. So the question is, are you ready for us and the conversations that we bring to the table? So to that we say, Pride and our LGBTQIA community, are we ready for the uncomfortable conversations that will move us all forward?
Are we ready to talk about racial equity in the queer community?
Are we ready to ensure that trans lives matter and Black trans lives matter?
Are we ready to mobilize creatives to change the narrative from hate to love?
I hope we're ready. Blessings to you all as we move forward together, not just during this month of Pride, but in all the months and years to come.
Are you ready?
Thank you so much, Melanie and Melora. With this beautiful view in sight, what better time to recognize this year's Lifetime Achievement Grand Marshal, Maury Riordan, selected by the San Francisco Pride Board. Let's hear from him.
Hi everyone, happy Pride to each and every one of you today. It really is an honor to receive the Lifetime Achievement Grand Marshal recognition. And when you get something, you receive something that has lifetime achievement in it, first you start to realize how much silver hair you have, but also it really catalyzes some reflection on life. And so I've been thinking about, since I came out as queer 40 years ago, although in those days it was in some ways a less understanding and more lonely time to be out as queer, it was still amazing, because when you found each other and came together, it was a life-changing experience. And so from, my teenage years, I remember thanking the universe for allowing me to be queer and a part of an amazing, sparkly community that adds spice to life. And I still feel that way today. And that was true even in the midst of AIDS and being a part of an experience where death was a part of daily life, but I felt like it shaped my life and the life of others to understand what really mattered, which is really love, justice, and dignity for all, and to never take that for granted. And now I get to see my son's generation of youth who are queer activists, artists, and shiny stars. And I know this generation is going to shape our culture in ways that many of us of my age range never thought was really possible. They're going to demand equity for all, whether that's in Pride or elsewhere, especially for BIPOC trans folks, but also they're going to demand that gender expression of any kind is acceptable and celebrated. They're going to destroy the patriarchy while they're at it. And they're also going to treat our earth with the love and dignity that we demand for ourselves. So between this incredible hope and inspiration I find in the queer youth today, and the homage that we all pay to those that went before us, we have great cause for celebration. And so to each and every one of you, I send you a big heartfelt hug and a happy Pride today. Thank you.
Thank you, Maury. And now that brings us to the end of our 23rd annual Pride Brunch.
What a tour of the city. We hope you enjoyed it. We want to especially thank all the donors to the silent auction today. And to those out there bidding, remember when the broadcast ends, bidding stays open until 3 p.m. So get out there and bid. Every dollar up to $5,000 will be matched by Tito's Handmade Vodka.
Thank you to all of you who bought viewing tickets. I hope you enjoyed this tour and these messages from our Grand Marshals. Some of you also bought tickets including brunch and gift bags delivered. We hope you ate well, liked your swag, and enjoyed the broadcast. And a few lucky individuals had suites at the Palace Hotel. Boy, they must have had a good time. We hope your stay was fabulous.
Any project like this requires support on so many levels, and we're so proud and appreciative of our sponsors, starting with our premier sponsors, Wells Fargo and Verizon, our rainbow sponsors, Tito's Handmade Vodka and AT&T, and our longtime media sponsorship with the wonderful San Francisco Bay Times newspaper.
Thank you.
As the credits roll, you'll see many others who had a hand in today's event, and to all of you, we are so grateful, including from PRC, Alex, Joe, and Seth, and our great videographer, Adam.
Thank you, Adam. You know, the Pride celebration does not end yet. Tonight is Pink Saturday, that sort of unofficial party in the Castro. Boy, we're gonna have fun there. And tomorrow, Juanita Moore's infamous Pride Party. I know I'll see you there.
Where will we be next year, Donna?
Well, where will we be? I think at Pride Brunch 2022.
That's right, the 24th annual Pride Brunch. It's never too late to start planning. But we want to thank all of you again, and I think we should close out this in a special way and have a toast to our guests and our fair city. Are you up for some Corbel champagne?
Oh, Corbel, yeah, I'll do Corbel, sure.
I happen to have some.
Thank you, Corbel. Oh, look at this. And with this view, oh, what a day it's been. You didn't tell me it was going to be this long of a tour, Gary. Next time I'll pack more luggage.
To my host of 23 years and my lifelong friend, We make quite a team.
We do. Thank you, Gary. Thank you all for being a part of it. And in the meantime, this is Donna Sachet
and Gary Virginia wishing you all a
Happy Pride!
Oh, I needed that. Look at our beautiful city. You look at it.